What we're about to experience is one of the weirdest yet most incredible theme parks I have ever seen. As you can see from the B-roll, this is looking to be one of the most incredible pirate parks you have ever seen, but then you dig a little bit deeper and it's also one of the best Moroccan theme parks you have ever seen. Go a little bit further and it's the best Aztec Park. And then what has me really questioning my reality, we eventually get to another area of this park, which is futuristic, utopian, sci-fi, Tron/cyberpunk theme parks I have ever seen. In fact, this area of the park alone would be one reason to just feature this park. This sci-fi, futuristic, Tron-style, cyberpunk city theme park is like nothing I've ever seen before, and I would definitely want to do an entire park spotlight on just that alone, and the area is freaking massive. But then we continue to dig deeper and we find some of the best looking Western, and then we go further and we get Asian. I just could not wrap my head around what is happening here, and each area of this park, each of these themed sections are pretty massive, but the quality bar has been raised so high that these are some of the best looking versions of these themes that I have ever seen in the 600 plus episodes that I've been doing this, and I just don't even know what to say other than stay tuned and let's check it out. Hey yo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another episode of Park Spotlight. Today, we are looking at Kingdoms of Fyre, and this was created by ThisDarkEagle. They are an expert in our community, and here they say. Hello, Johnny. I am back again with my trusty 6-year-old laptop to bring you this mega park, which took countless hours and most likely over a year to make since I forgot long ago when it was first started. This mega park has 6 highly themed areas, which I tried to limit to a 60 by 60 mini park in dimensions. It was my first time theming to Asian, Persian, and sci-fi. I called it Moroccan. It's Persian, guys. Unfortunately, I had to stop this project as my laptop could not handle the park anymore and lagged too much. Meant not being able to have a spooky area with the first dark ride and steampunk area. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Be prepared to see my most heavily themed areas, which included nighttime lighting for enjoyable views. Each of the 13 roller coasters uses the 4-meter smoothing method and autocomplete methods to bring you the smoothest roller coasters that I could make. I have 4 other parks in progress and would love to hear feedback and know what you would like to see next. Be on the lookout for my next creations and enjoy Firelight Gardens Kingdoms of Fyre. Yo, what an introduction. What a freaking introduction. I gotta look at their workshop. They're working on more parks. So apparently their laptop cannot handle how much they're pumping into these, and they have to break it up into multiple parks. But that is good for all of us. That means more park spotlights from ThisDarkEagle. So did I feature Talloway Amusement Park? I'm not sure. If I haven't, I'm gonna have to go do that because I'm just looking at their workshop and trying to figure out if we featured them before. Anyways, without further ado, let's just dive into this craziness. Okay, I am assuming this is the guest spawner. Yes, indeed it is. We're gonna be kicking things off with the Persian area of the park. Holy good googly moogly. So there was a lot to unpack with that freaking introduction, as they did say that each of these areas uses a 60 by 60 mini park border. Now, that's kind of one of the standards that we use for our mini park contests. However, these areas are not really quite mini, and I don't really understand how, like, the scale feels very, very large to me, and I don't understand how I'm, like, getting this much stuff and you're considering them to be mini parks. Even still, a 60 by 60 park in terms of meters and dimension is a park worth featuring. I've featured many, many, many of those on the channel throughout the history. Having 6 of them in one gigantic park that we get to unpack here today that is quite a treat. This is basically 6 contestants from the last mini park contest we did, all crammed into one giant mega park. And very interesting themes at that. You know, this Persian theme is incredible looking. Like, just look around at all the details. I mean, I just can't even. This is just mind-boggling. Each of the 6 areas that we're going to be embarking on here today are going to be at this level, if not better. It really depends on preference, because you don't really see Persian themes in this game, so you have to custom build all this. Therefore, to me, I think this is over-the-top exquisite. But then we have seen pirate themes in the past, but I think that's done exceptionally well too. So it just really comes down to preference and rarity. And in this case, I think they've chosen a lot of things that are both rare and done in a very unique way. Here's a look at all the stats of the spinning coaster. It's about 1 kilometer in length. It's taking off. Let's give it a go. Oh, you know what? They said all of their coasters use the smoothing method, so we're gonna ride track view to start, and then we'll give it a spin. An absolute freaking masterclass in coaster design right there. An incredible layout, extraordinarily smooth because they use that smoothing technique. Just for anyone that's unaware what that is, basically you take little segments like 1 meter tracks and you're building the coaster like by tiny pieces so that you get a smoother coaster experience. It's an interesting trick. You're smoothing pieces in between every other one and it gives you an extra smooth experience. I guess we'll do the seat view for this, but it's something that somebody figured out a really, really long time ago. Silverette ended up making a video on it, and it got really popular after that. But not only is it super smooth, it's a really good coaster layout at that. You really made the most of this 600 meters. Let's check this out again. Definitely a lot harder to appreciate the coaster layout with the spins, so I'm glad we did the track view first. I'm not an expert by any means on spinning coasters. I do feel like the spin could have been locked and unlocked a little bit better on the control. Pretty sure you can lock this and unlock it, but it was pretty disorientating, but it should be. So I don't know if that's considered a good spinning coaster or not. I personally prefer it when there's just the right amount of spin used at the right times, but the lighting on this is looking really, really crazy. I think we can do a bit of an orbit and we can watch the spin and see for ourselves if it's too much or too little. Let's take another look at this and get a second opinion. All right, seeing it from a third-person perspective, I actually think it wasn't too bad at all. Certainly not out of control or anything, so it was actually pretty good. Not too bad at all. So what I was referring to is, like, sometimes if you lock it and unlock it, you can have it so that the spin is just looking inward as we're going up, and then as we go down, it spins back, right? So I've seen some pretty interesting control with a spinning coaster in the past that can make it really, really slick. However, just a little bit of spin here and there, which this coaster has, is also just fine. Overall, the coaster's sick. That's a really awesome spinning coaster. I thoroughly enjoyed every aspect of it. Thematically speaking, it is just insane. Absolutely insane. Taking the Persian theme, which I've never ever seen before, really, it's a very rare theme, and done to this quality, and the nighttime lighting is just remarkable. That is the complete package. And that is just kicking off the experience. My goodness gracious. This is both a quality and quantity park. While the areas themselves claim to be mini parks, they did say that there's 13 roller coasters overall with, what did they say, 6 themed areas. So we should be getting about 2 attractions per themed area. But the theming of these areas is really tight. Like, this is an extraordinary amount of detail. For those wondering, like, this tower here is 1,600 pieces. They actually went down and placed each individual brick on this wall. I mean, it's hard to appreciate unless you're experienced with the game. Somebody that may be new or unfamiliar with the pieces may not understand all these little blocks and different things are all manually placed. These aren't just something you can get out of the box and place down. Absolutely not. You have to go out of your way and handcraft all of this. So the craftsmanship of this park is just absolutely over the top. We have a genie ride here. It's not really taken off or anything. You know what? I'm actually going to give this a go. We might want to change the perspective, though. Yeah, the setting and atmosphere of this park is insane. And I guess we're going to have to refer to each of the themed areas as their own park. Because I don't really... If you look at this park from a top-down view, which we'll probably do at the end, it really isn't one gigantic land or one gigantic theme park. It, to me, feels like 6 theme parks. We're going on 6 theme parks here today. While they may be small, they're insanely detailed and intricate. So I feel like each of these areas we can kind of refer to them as their own park. So there is a giant inverted boomerang over here. Or maybe just a standard boomerang, I don't know. It's an impulsion. Ah, I guessed wrong twice. Darn it. Okay. So it's not actually, it's gonna shoot up. That's the difference between, it's not gonna lift and drop. It's gonna shoot and pass through, launch. Very interesting. So yeah, this is in fact the second coaster of this area. And we can come to expect to see about 2 per zone. 2 per park. Usually, these aren't the craziest. I've seen some pretty nutty ones where people have done them underground and then they shoot out of ground and pop out of the terrain and come from underneath, and you could do some pretty nuts things with them. But there's been a lot of the ones that, like this, that I've seen over the years that have been pretty generic. We'll have to see how we feel about this one, considering they've used the smoothing technique on all of them. I have pretty high expectations for this one. In terms of length, it's about the same as the spinning coaster, and that seemed to have a good duration to it. So I guess we're gonna have to do track view, which is a little bit weird for a invert, but let's check it out. I'm gonna cut it a little bit short and then switch it to night and see if we have any nighttime lighting for the journey back. Yeah, nothing over the top, nothing really crazy done with this coaster. It's really just tucked off to the back of this Persian area out on the water, so we didn't get a lot of theming. Maybe what you could have done is had like this old broken building that's half sunken into the water or something. I don't know. Or had it wrap itself in, so it's going underground, this park, and then when it comes up, it kind of spirals around one of your towers or something. Having it integrate where it's coming up and down through the pathing, shooting up through the terrain, could have been a cool design. Man, look at this, I don't know what you did here to the ground. Are these... Oh, you made your own custom ground. That looks just crazy. Well done. Those extra touches, putting pathing over the pathing just to make things just a little bit more HD is wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah, the creator asked for feedback, but I really can't give you much. I can give you some creative suggestions like I just did with the Impulsion, but I think this is going to be a lot of just oohing and ahhing, right? It's looking fantastic so far. The Kingdoms of Fire, and their decision to go with these like 6 mini parks is definitely a creative decision overall. And I think that's the one thing I don't really... I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel by the end of it. Because I like it and I also don't like it. I like there to be a little bit of cohesion from start to finish. Going through a main street, seeing the different themed areas, choosing which one I'm going to go to. I feel like we're coming in, you get the Persian area right out of the get-go, but am I going into a Persian theme park? I am, but then it's like one theme park chained into another, It's just like this weird path that's taking us through all of these different settings. I guess this is taking us over to Westworld now, which is also looking just ridiculous. But I don't know if that makes any sense. But I guess I'm going to have to cheat a little and show you guys what I mean. See, it's like, this is a park, that's a park, that's a park, that's a park. There are like 6 parks that have been stitched together, and then the path is just going to take us on a journey through them all. And they are just remarkably well done. But part of me wants to go to like just enter into Main Street and then see all the different areas and go, where should we head to first? But to play devil's advocate, it's different. It's a different experience than what we're used to seeing here on the channel. So I kind of embrace it. It's just not what I'm used to, right? So again, like, I think that's not really a critique, but more of a comment on their creative decision, is that I will know how I feel about that decision when we get done with this. And even that, like, we walked through the western area, but now we're going into some jungly area. Oh, this is the, yeah, that would be the Aztec area or whatever. But to actually get there, we have to go through a lot of walking paths. So, and that is what you get when you go, like, border, run paths between them all to get to the parks. In some ways, I almost rather do 6 park spotlights, 1 for each. Every time you do a mini park, just send it to me and I'll feature it, right? Because it is a weird stitching of the parks. But once we get there, here we are, now in the western area. They are some of the most detailed and incredible theme parks I have ever seen. And then as all of them as a whole really makes for a cool experience. So again, I have to wait and see how I feel about it at the end. It's definitely something different in terms of layout. But I'm not really mad at it either. So we're just going to have to see. See, we walked 1 mile that way, 1 mile this way. Now we're in the park. It's just a little bit on the strange side. And that's how I opened up the top of this video with, this is one of the weirdest but yet most fascinating theme parks I have ever seen. And I like that. I like bringing you guys different stuff. Not just you guys, like when I do these park spotlights, it's also for me. I pick up things that interest me that I also think you guys will share in the excitement with. So I'm picking them for me, and I'm also picking them for you. We got this giant tree claw. That's very cool. And a swinging mine train coaster. So to finish my thoughts on that is, I don't know if this is a suggestion or a critique yet, but to, what was our creator's name here today? ThisDarkEagle. I think you could go 1 or 2 different approaches in the future with your future submissions. Is to just say, do the areas of the park 60 by 60, maybe a little bit bigger 80 by 80, and just, because you're doing things at a next level, for sure. Like, you're undeniably good at making coasters, undeniably good at theming. So you could, in theory, just make what we're seeing here in this Western Park. Just make a Western Park, and instead of doing 2 coasters, do like 3 or 4. And do it to the level that you're doing, maybe a little bit larger. Make a park entrance for it, and submit that. It's a lot less work for you in the sense that you get to focus all your energy into one, like, themed park, and then you get more submissions. You could submit more of them to us, and we could check out more of them. So more bite size, or yeah, like smaller but more of them. Or instead of doing 6 areas, just try to pick like 3 or 4. And just really, you know, condense it. Make it like a Disney. You go through Main Street, you have Frontierland, Discovery, and all that sort of jazz. 4 different areas off to the sides, and we go from there. Or you can just keep doing what you're doing. Totally up to you. All right, here we go. We have arrived at the Iron Wendigo. And what do we have here? It is, a steel top RMC 1.8 kilometers in track length, 78 miles per hour, 61 meters is the biggest drop, 8 airtime counts, 4 inversions, and 4 seconds of airtime, and it is green across the board. Based off of our experience with the last coaster, my hopes are high on this one, especially because it's 1.8 kilometers, and seeing what they did with the 600 or so meters with the spinning coaster, this is probably going to be insane. So we're going to do track view again, because that's pretty much how you want to ride all of them. The one downside to doing the 4-meter smoothing method is if you don't ride it in track view, it can sometimes jitter from seat view. So we're probably going to avoid seat view for the most of this video. All right, let's go. We're lacking some Planet Bluegrass with this. That's my #1 feedback. Some music is always good. Wow, I really like these underground mine shafts and tunnels. I would have liked to see a little bit more of this, honestly. It's so well done. But I can't deny that the actual coaster layout was a massive flex. It was really well done. The terrain itself was pretty interesting too. Very dry, arid style to Western here. It's not your average Red Rock Western, more like a little bit of an African feel to it. I like it. Very, very well done. So wait a second. Is there a second? I feel like there should be a second ride somewhere in this Western area. It's a bit of a dead end, isn't it? Because we came all the way down here to get to that coaster, and then we got to go all the way back up. So that is the one downside to this 6-park layout. Is that there's gonna be a lot of backtracking and a lot of long roads. So I think trying to connect them all and make a centralized area of Main Street would definitely help a lot. So I definitely think that that would be a critique after all. Just to simplify the pathing setup for yourself and for the people exploring your parks. Okay, so we have a swinging mine train coaster. What are we dealing with here? BrownBear, 800 meters in length. Not a whole lot of stuff standing out. Family-friendly ride. We kind of want to sit in seat view so we can experience the swing. So I think that's what we'll do here. I say that, but then these people won't stop sticking their hands in our face. Oh gosh. You guys are flailers. That was a cool shot coming back in. We got to see the other train leaving the station. That's pretty cool. I see nighttime lighting everywhere, and I did not ride the RMC at night, nor am I going to ride this one at night, but I want to take a look at everything. This area is definitely a little bit more spread out, a little bit more sprawling than the previous one, but the coasters themselves also stretch out pretty far. They also really well lit yet again. I figured the RMC wouldn't have much lighting back here, and that was true, but the mine train may be a little bit better. Very, very, very cool. So again with the he wanted some feedback. They wanted some feedback. Other than the actual natural sounds that are coming from the flat rides and the coasters themselves, there's not a lot of ambience in the park. So that's probably one thing I would suggest in the future, is to put some speakers around, maybe choose some music for the coasters themselves. And then, you know, because I like it when the audio matches the visuals, and I think your visuals are just over the top. Absolutely over the top here. So I guess we're going to check out this Aztec area since we're basically here. I don't know if this is an area I should be walking around at night or not, but it's looking pretty good to me. All of this stuff is Theme Maker Toolkit, which means they were built custom from the community. These in the past would absolutely melt my old computer. And honestly, my new computer's struggling a little bit here with them too. We're getting about 20 FPS in this area, so if you were building this on a laptop, which they said they were, that would probably hurt a lot. And again, to my previous point, I think you could have just done an Aztec theme park all on its own, and sent that in for sure, and just got a little bit more expansive with it. Why not? Okay, so we have an inverted coaster over here. Can we go inside of these temples, I wonder? It's calling me over. No doors. Huh. Well, we'll just keep on keeping on and see where it takes us. A lot of people are coming down. Oh, I don't even think it's an inverted. I think it's a swinging, a suspended swinging. Possibly. Based off the look of the lift there. Where are we going? A lot of paths. I must have walked by an entrance somewhere. This guy can't find a bathroom. I think there's a flat ride in there. That's where we're hearing the music from. I keep wanting to go in these temples, but I don't see doors anywhere. And that's... I could have possibly missed a door at some point. And that goes into a whole other themed area. What is happening here? Huh. I feel like I need more signs to guide me. We're gonna Swizzer up here. It's a very interesting choice. There's an exit for a coaster. Oh. That doesn't help us. I'm trying not to go up exits. Yeah, I hear music in there. I think there's music on that coaster, and it's all indoors or something. Hey, we found the bathrooms. And some beetles. Okay, I feel like we walked around the whole park and we never saw a single queue. I'm not gonna look in the wall. This coaster's either going all the way through all of these Aztec buildings, or you have put music in all of the walls right after I made the comments about needing more speakers in your park. This area has no lack of that music. Hey look, I found another exit. How is this happening? Well, they're definitely in queue for something. There we go. It's the Riviera, or the River, eh? It's a river, eh? Indeed it is. Okay. I was hoping for a coaster, but we're going on a river rapid. It's the rolling river. The raging rolling river rapids. Let's check it out. Do I want to? Nah. I was going to say we could ride river rapids at night, but I want to do it at day. We've walked around pretty much this entire area at night, so why not take a look at all of this during the day? But yeah, all these interesting Aztec cobblestone walls are from somebody made them in Blender, imported them into Planet Coaster. At least I believe so. They're not native. So it definitely gives you an interesting aesthetic. And I think that's what this creator is excelling at. Rather than just going, I'm going to make an adventure area and I'm going to use the clay, you know, temple pieces. No, they had to go and download custom bricks, make their own unique spin on adventure, turn it into something unique and refreshing. We saw that with the Persian area. Instead of doing like what we have in game is like either Indian pieces or Moroccan pieces, they went and made their own custom Persian area, and I think that's really cool. Even the Western area had a different aesthetic about it than what we're normally used to seeing. I would have liked to see the Western area be a little bit more expansive in terms of what you did with it. It felt a little bit bare bones compared to the first area, or is this too much path? Maybe. Felt like we walked around a lot over there, but it was hard, you know. Didn't get a look at too much. But yeah, this is really cool. The area that I'm anticipating the most based off the B-roll and the introduction that I gave, oh yeah, it is a suspended steel coaster, is the Pirate. I feel like that area looks like nothing I've ever seen before, as well as this neon city, night city. It looks pretty sweet. Here we go. Yeah, the ambience in this area of the park has been great. It just so happened that right after I made that comment that we need more ambience, there's been a lot. Spoke too soon. All right. Great boarding station here as well. Look at this. Amazing. And there it is. That is our rolling river. Let's head on out and figure out where that queue is that I missed. Okay, I must have came in here, right? Let's see if I can find a queue here. It must be down here. No. Nope, that's Neon City. How in the world? I went up there, right? What is in here? Nothing. Speakers. So it is, in fact, just this music everywhere. I'm losing my mind. I'm gonna click on this coaster. Here? That's the exit. Oh. So we walked by the flat ride, and I went, okay, that's the queue for the flat ride. Right? Right there. But behind that is the queue for the coaster. It's overshadowed by the gigantic flat ride queue and fences. You can basically miss it. Unless you were coming from the other direction, which I wasn't. So I don't know if that's a me issue or yeah, it's a little bit of an undersight. I guess we should probably go through here at night. We can ride the coaster at night and day for this one, I think, because this area is pretty remarkably lit. This is kind of claustrophobic, but also very immersive. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Starting a suspended swinging steel hydra from underground in the dark crypts here. 1.5 kilometers in length, 50 miles per hour. 22 meters is the biggest drop. These aren't really intended to do big drops, but more so big swings. So we got one pulling in right now. We're going to also ride this one in seat view because we want to experience that swing. So I know the creator used the smoothing method on all of these coasters. I would say for the ones that you don't ride in track view, like this and the swinging mine train, you probably don't have to painstakingly do everything the hard way in terms of the 4-meter smoothing trick if the coaster is going to be ridden in anything other than track view. So saves you some time for the future. Something to think about there. Wow, definitely appreciate the temple work a lot more during the daytime. You could see a lot more of the atmosphere and the attention to detail gone into the environment of this area, but the atmosphere at night was also really freaking cool. I definitely like your take on adventure. It's completely different than anything I've seen. Made up of majority of those downloaded assets, which gives it a really unique look, but also extremely expensive on optimization. So if you are running it on a laptop, that's going to be the most expensive part for sure, because even my computer's struggling a little bit. So we have arrived to my most anticipated area, the Pirate. Look at this shantiness. This is gnarly. I don't know what these giant wooden pillars are, but they look awesome. Oh my goodness. Do they ever? Oh, wow. Look at that thatched roof. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. This is cool. These are quite something else. Yeah. This creator definitely has an artistic vision like nothing I've ever seen before. And it's almost a shame that these are mini parks rather than... I kind of like, you have this really good concept and this really good take on things, but you only give us a sample of it. That is the downside to this concept that you're going for. But it is also one of those things where you need you get the flavor fatigue, right? As a builder, when you do too much of the same thing, you can get flavor fatigue, and you definitely need to switch it up for sanity reasons. You do too much of the same thing and it just becomes really redundant. And I could see why choosing to go... I don't know what's up with your floors, by the way. It's a bit weird. I could see why choosing to go with like 6 mini parks is a lot better on the mind and then the creative vision. But it also leaves us wanting a little bit more in each of these areas. So far from what I've seen, everything has been exceptionally well done, except for the Western. The Western was a little underwhelming. Brownbeard's Rumble. We have 600 meters in length, 46 meters is max speeds, and it's a bit of a more mild wooden coaster from the looks of things. A family-friendly wooden coaster, which I'm definitely cool with. Again, because of smoothing meter trek, we're going track view. Let's go. Short and sweet, but I like how basically the entire coaster takes us on a shantytown exploration. It's not really a traditional Woody in the sense that most people just make a really nice wooden layout and they're so extremely hard to theme that it's just kind of out there on the terrain. Now, this one, it's pretty much inside of all these buildings and shanty areas, which is pretty cool. A different experience for sure. Again, quite an amazing atmosphere at night. This creator knows how to do the nighttime lighting, and I could definitely appreciate that. I saw a nice tealish glow on some of the buildings outside here, which had me kind of intrigued. Yeah, look at that. Very cool. All right. I wasn't really paying attention, but I saw another coaster from the perspective of this coaster. Yeah, one up there. Where are we going? Do I have to backtrack all the way around? So maybe a bridge on that side of the park would have been nice. You have one over here. Oh, as good as this nighttime lighting is, it's even better at day. It's pirate, right? Kraken Falls. That looks cool. Logflume. Now, did you include the Logflumes and rides as part of your 13 coasters, I wonder? Or can we expect another? Probably expect another. That's pretty sweet. Bit of a backup going on here. We got a log jam. All right, there's a look at the stats on the Logflume. Nothing really crazy to look at there. And the mechanic is coming in, doing his thing. We're riding this at daytime. Let's see what this Logflume has to offer. Wow, the splashdown on that was actually kind of sick. You kind of, where is it? Yeah, you splash down into the queue where they're getting on into the station, but it doesn't hit ground level. It goes underground. Whoa. Yeah, the intricacies of all this is really next level. Like, everything you see here is just picturesque, like something out of an Assassin's Creed game, you know? Even the custom woodwork and detailing on this hammer swing is just next level stuff. You made a hammer swing work for the pirate area of this theme park, and I just find that to be so freaking cool. Now, is this an exit for... How do we get onto the other side? I know there's another coaster here. It must be up over here, right? We came in there. Right. This makes sense. Yeah, everything is very picturesque. I mean, holy moly. as a composition, some of the coolest looking pirate stuff I've ever seen. Blackbeard's Revenge. Let's freaking go. It's a launch coaster. We're jumping queue here. Oh my goodness. Wow. I think, oh, wow. There's 15,000 guests in the park. I was gonna say, I think all the guests in the park are over here. Well, no wonder this is killing your laptop, and no wonder I'm getting like an average of 20 FPS on my computer. I thought it was all the TMTK. Usually I limit the guests to about 3,000 or 4,000. There is no limit. I'm gonna set it to 5,000. They could start to leave. It's not really gonna help now that we're like already this far into the episode, but they'll start leaving. 1.1 kilometers in length, 76 miles per hour, 5 inversions, a bunch of airtime. Definitely got to go track view again as advertised. Let's go. Okay, I freaking loved the atmosphere of that at nighttime. I would say like significantly more improved experience at night. Specifically coming through here, oh my goodness, it looks so cool. You have all these like wine barrels and stuff on the walls. There's so many details in here. But launching over this dilapidated hodgepodge wooden bridge covered in torches was so freaking cool. And then we pass through this like pitch black cavern and you see that moonlight hitting the track, right? And then we come on up and basically invert right over while looking at the moon. Some of that, oh my god, that was incredibly, I don't know if that was all intentional or happy accidents, but that came together really quite cool at nighttime. Wow, super cool pirate area. Really enjoyed that. It's left me wanting more, and that's usually a good thing. So we get a little bit of taste of that, and then it's off to see something else. So because of the strange order that I've been doing things, we're gonna have to zip on through to Aztec, and then we're gonna go into... Oh yeah, we gotta go nighttime for this. We're going to Tronland, Cyberpunk, Night City. Oh my freaking god. Ever since I made that comment about audio, the audio's been great. I think your western area might have just been like the last thing you did, and it's feeling a little bit incomplete compared to the other areas. Or you just like, yeah, because you forgot a few things, and the pathing and layout seems a little bit less thoughtful. So it might have just been, I probably went there a little too early in the video to truly be able to make a judgment call, but this is looking wild. All the coasters are lit up with floodlights. There's freaking glowing signs in all the walls. I mean, what am I even looking at here? Even the floors have neon panels. This is outrageous. I don't know what this queue is for, but I'm going down it. Oh gosh, we have Night City Go-Karts. Let's go. Oh my god, look at the use of these laser beam things. I don't even know what those are. I think those are downloaded as well. Holy crap, this is cool. Yo. Okay, so we got the Rainbow Highway. There's not gonna be a lot of stats here other than the track length is 600 meters. We're gonna have to wait for them all to pull in and do their victory laps and all that. Look at these like neon trees and stuff you got going on over here. It's a giant cannon in the background. This is like nothing I've ever seen before, and I'm quite excited about it. I love go-karts in this game. It's so good. I feel like every good park should have a go-kart track, you guys. Even if it's freaking a pirate-only park, you should have it. Find a way to make it work. Okay, how do we want to ride these? I want to do third person. That's not working for me. How do I do third person? I have to spin it around? I'm sorry, guys. I think we got to do this. Yes, that. Holy guacamole. The audio got really quiet again over here. This is pretty wild. Especially city go-karts. Like, man. I love seeing stuff like this. Like I said, this could be a park spotlight all on its own. And honestly, I'd prefer that. When I opened up this park, I thought to myself, how am I going to make a thumbnail for this and advertise it? Do I take a thumbnail of this? I don't know. How do I title something and thumbnail something that is 6 different things? You see my predicament? It's hard to choose one of just 6 different things. And this creator's so good at making amazing art, compositions, layouts, that I personally feel like the way to go going forward, do what you did here, but make it 50% larger. Send that in for Park Spotlight. Do that with your pirate area as well. I thought that pirate area was phenomenal. If it had like 2 more coasters, it could have been its own episode. And it's only like 50% more work for one of those areas. And I'm definitely a person that thrives off of like instant gratification. I don't really do things other than Project Planko, but even that was like I needed the help of the community, and it was like 7 years of doing Planko. I needed to do something big again. But generally, I don't like committing to very long projects unless I can get hits of instant gratification along the way. And with Project Planko, for example, the park that we're building, my instant gratification there is going episode at a time. We accomplished 10% of the park this episode, did another 10% here, and we're just doing it chunk by chunk by chunk. That way I get my gratification chunk by chunk by chunk until it's all done. And I just picked up another hobby, Warhammer 40,000. My cousin got me into it, so we're doing painting and stuff. I try to do 5 units at a time, start to finish. I don't do like 30 guys, base by base by base by base. I just do 5 to the best of my ability, finish them in a day, and get my instant gratification. So I can see why doing mini parks, both because you have a laptop and so that you feel accomplished, you made something nice and move on, is definitely a way to do it. So I could see like what you did here, what you accomplished is really freaking cool. And in terms of your creative, what does that say? Error? Error green. Okay. My brain errored out. Yeah, I think breaking stuff into mini parks is a great concept. And I highly recommend this idea for... Why does it look like I'm on fast forward? I highly recommend this idea for anybody getting into the game. If you want to do multiple themed lands, just do small with 1 or 2 coasters. Or just do one themed land, finish that, and send it on in. And that way you can get that instant gratification, build yourself a little area, make a coaster, theme it, call it a day, got some gratification, and do that 2 or 3 times until the park is done. And you got a nice little mini park. Okay, wow, what are we dealing with here? Is this a, oh, it's a launch DriveTire coaster. Biggest drop is 37 meters, max speeds is 70 miles per hour, and number in inversions is 9. Good freaking googly moogly. Let's give it a go. This is such a crazy cool concept. Look at the walls in here. This is wild. I'm a big fan of whatever this theme is, and a big fan of the creator too, because again, I've said this earlier, they like to take what we can traditionally think of as a theme and kind of put their own spin on things. I guess you would consider this sci-fi, right? Sci-fi futuristic, but it looks nothing like Planet Coaster Sci-Fi. Absolutely nothing like it. It's really quite impeccable. And same could be said with all the other areas that we've visited so far. I feel like pretty much everything here has been over the top. I would have liked to see how you could take Western a little bit further. To me, that was probably the closest we've seen to something that we've seen before. Very generic and tropey, I guess, compared to what you would come to expect from Western in this game so far. But all this other stuff has been just elevated, absolutely elevated. So I guess what I'd like to see from you, from the next one, is if you can take another stab at the Western and see what you can do to elevate it, make it stand out from everything else. I feel like that one was a bit of a hit and miss, but the other ones, you've absolutely nailed it. I mean, what is this? This is so crazy. I love it. Code Blue. This area is also lacking a little bit in the music, I've noticed. There's a lot of cool, like, weird sci-fi music in Planko that you could put everywhere. And there's some fun, like, hip-hoppy music, too. Retro music that could also work pretty good. Ooh, you know what I'd like to see this creator do? Vintage. There's a whole bunch of pieces for the vintage pack. 1.2 kilometers, 72 miles per hour. We're looking at a Giga coaster. Up we freaking go into the sky night of Night City. This is quite a spectacle here. We have one more themed area that we're going to be going to next. That's all the way over there. And it's our little Asian area. Let's go. I'm curious to know what area would have taken the longest based off of the time invested from this creator. I'm gonna guess it's this one. All of the edge work on these are all glowing panels. This is really quite like nothing I've ever seen before. Making sure all the color hits right and checking all the pieces out at night. That's very, very, very time consuming. Okay, that is going to wrap up our neon night city area of the park. We're going back to daylight. Oh my god, my eyes are not ready for this. I'm extra tired today too, and my eyes are a little scratchy. Going from night to day. Oh my god, it's good to be outside again. Now we're going to the back stages of the pathwork that stitches these parks together, and over to our Asian area. So, very vibrant, very beautiful. Already I can see a little bit of a different take on the building and architecture. Doing it your own way. I like to see it. So what are we dealing with over here? Is that a floorless corkscrew style coaster? Or stand-up possibly? That thing's lifting up into the sky there. Maybe we could take a look at that. I don't really usually don't ride these. That one's getting the top of the lift right there, and there it goes. Oh, they stand up in these. Oh, look at they can just walk around. That's pretty cool. They should make this a restaurant. Serve them drinks and stuff while they're up there. Okay. Ferris wheel. So, I'm gonna say the Harmony Temple coming soon. They planned on doing a 7th area. That's right. The what did the inbox say? They wanted to do spooky and steampunk. So the coming soon was supposed to be spooky or something, or steampunk. Pretty interesting. I guess it's safe to assume the next park that we get from this creator is going to be spooky or steampunk. Now, I'm actually featuring newer creations. This was submitted February 22nd, 2024. At the time of me recording this, that was like a week ago. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That means they've already gotten started, or... yeah, I'm assuming that they're not that far into their next creation. So I've made a few critiques along the way about like improving ambience. I've thought and talked openly about like, I wonder if this was the right approach, doing like 6 parks within a like map, because it really doesn't feel like a cohesive theme park with 6 different themed lands. It feels like 6 parks on a map, right? Especially like the in-between path structures. And I'm just wondering, like, is that the style to go or not? And I'm not really saying that it is or isn't. I'm just wondering, was that the right decision? And I feel like at the end of the day, it might not have been. As I mentioned with the sci-fi area, how do I even make a thumbnail for this park? It's 6 parks. It's really a bundle. It's a happy little park bundle, and which is cool for content. We all get to go on Giga Rage Coaster, by the way. Wasn't a corkscrew. We all get to experience 6 theme parks, and I like that. So I still don't know how I feel about it, but any feedback that we can give to the creator right here, right now, they have just finished this park. So if you have any thoughts of what you liked, what you'd like to see differently, what you think they should do in the future, whether they should make one continuous park or just one themed park, like one pirate park, like they could just do a spooky park next, or they could just do a steampunk park next, send that in and we could feature that in just a couple months from now. And I think, personally, that should be the way to go. Because we get another amazing park from this creator, and they don't have to work on it for, 3 years or whatever. Okay, here we freaking go. Boom, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We should have one more coaster to go through, if my math is correct, because we went on, there's 13 coasters total, and I think one area we did 2 or 3, and then basically 2 coasters for every area means, ooh, oh, this gravel, so expensive, but worth it. Should mean that there's one more coaster tucked away back here somewhere, right? Ryuki. All right. Exits, entrance between the Double Dragons. Double Dragon. Did you guys ever play Double Dragon for the NES growing up? Did you even have an NES growing up? God, I'm old. Double Dragon wing to launch coaster. Let's freaking go. Ryuki. 1 kilometer in length, 65 miles per hour, 32 meters is the biggest drop, and we're doing 6 inversions. Let's freaking go. We'll do the traditional seat view, and then we'll do track view for night. I really like the decision to go with the blue lanterns as opposed to the traditional red lanterns here. The blue and gold there with the dragon heads is really nice. I'm a fan of the blue myself, so quite like that. Okay, wowzers. Let's take a look at everything and talk about it for a sec here. I absolutely love what the creator did in terms of putting their own twist on things. I feel like this Asian area, it's pretty standard, some like stuff we've seen. I would have liked to see a little bit more color palette, although at nighttime I thought it stood out quite nicely with that blue, but all the buildings are a little bit monotone, a little bit neutral over here. There's nothing here standing out too much to say like, wow, that is quite a unique personal touch compared to what I've seen in the past, but it's also very well done. It all looks good. It's better than I could do. It's better than a lot of the Asian areas that I've seen in parks. It's really top quality. But in comparison to how they've elevated sci-fi, or they've elevated pirates, or, you know, the Aztec or the adventure, Persia, all these other areas I feel have been elevated so drastically beyond anything I've ever seen before, particularly the Persian area. I think this is going to come out to be my favorite overall. It is quite small, it's quaint and cozy, but the architecture, design, color palette, everything about it was extraordinarily well done, and it's my favorite because it's unique, right? You just don't see this. The closest I've seen to it is like a Moroccan style or an Indian style, and other than that, it just it stands out completely on its own compared to everything else. I also really like the compositions and the way that this pirate area looks. It's some really cool, interesting stuff with these pillars. And then, of course, this sci-fi futuristic city stuff was just remarkably cool, right? This is the stuff we normally see from sci-fi, this everywhere. It's a bit crazy and it's getting a little bit old. And I think you found a way to make it fresh again. And that's where I think this park within 6 parks within a park, in 6 parks within a map, makes for a very interesting experience. You've done something unique, refreshing in each of the areas, with the only 2, in my opinion, lacking a little bit, was really just the pirate area, mainly because we walk down this massive path and we see it all, right? And it's like, oh, that looks interesting. Compositions, they are good. The windmills, the rocks, the giant RMC, all this different stuff, like it's ridiculously cool. And then we walk all the way down there, and then we walk all the way down here, and really the actual park here is just a row of buildings, right? We didn't really get to go on that Western journey. We got to go on a couple Western coasters that looked really cool on the outside, and then once we got on them, were actually fun to ride. But the whole going through the theme park experience itself wasn't worth the walk. It was a long walk. The rides were great when we got there, but getting there was quite a long go. So I definitely think you could somehow elevate the Western. It also had like 0 music, and I made that comment that I felt like it could use more ambience throughout the park. Ambience was pretty good in a few of the areas. The first one, the Aztec, and I think the Pirate, and then everything else was kind of forgotten about. So it's like half of the parks had it, half of them didn't. Yeah, overall, I don't know how I feel about this parks on a map kind of thing. I feel like we went on 6 theme parks here today, 6 mini parks, right? They're all about the same size. The creator said 60 by 60. It feels like 6 square parks stitched together, and it makes for a very weird flow because we're walking from map to map with these long paths. The actual like layouts within them was pretty okay. Like it was all centralized, except for the Western, right? That was a lot of backtracking. The Pirate one was an interesting layout because it was like one big C shape. I think if you would have had a bridge here, it would have tied it all together and made it all flow pretty nicely. But other than that, we're backtracking both ways as well. Persian area was nice flow. It was like nice and circular. So each of the parks in their own right has a good flow, but because everything is stitched together border to border to border, it's not a theme park. It's 6 theme parks. And again, I'm kind of indifferent. I like it, and I also feel like I would prefer just to go on 6 different theme parks from the creator, because we get spoiled in the sense that we get to go on 6 parks, but it doesn't feel like one cohesive theme park, right? And that's where I'm a little bit torn. I personally feel, and you guys can let me know down in the comments below if you agree with this or not. Like they said, they wanted to do spooky, and this area was going to be spooky, and I guess this was going to be steampunk, and then that would have made a complete 9. I personally feel like for your next one, instead of doing a 60 by 60, do an 80 by 80 or 120 by 120 steampunk park with, instead of 2 coasters and a rides, do 4 or 5 coasters and some rides, and send that on in. And based off their description, they spent likely over a year. So if you could do this in a year, you could do one slightly larger singular park, smaller than the whole thing combined, but larger than each individual, in probably a few months, based off of how fast you do these. Each one of these basically took them roughly 2 to 3 months if they did it in about a year, right? There being 6 of them in total. So yeah, if you can make them a little bit larger and do them in 3 to 4 months and just send in one themed park, I personally think that would be better. Or you go the Disneyland approach. We get to your park, we go see the big giant park entrance, beautiful park entrance, we have a main street, and then we have 4 different areas. And we go to those 4 different areas, and then you just try to condense it all. Also, I think in terms of you being on a laptop, you're using all of this custom stuff that's very, very expensive. This stuff in particular kills computers, and you're right here, this is like 3,600 of them. And then again over here with what I saw, the gravel, yeah, that's a lot 500 of these individual polygon rendered objects. It's insane. This is the stuff that kills laptops. This is stuff that killed my old high-end PC. And then you had 15,000 gets to the park. All of those things, if you reduce those, you could get a lot more on your laptop. You could push it a lot further for sure. That's just some small advice or whatever to help you run things more efficiently so you can build a little bit more in the future. I love what you've done in terms of taking a spin on everything, and it has me curious to see what you would do with steampunk and spooky 100%. I definitely feel like you could take another stab at Western. I'd love to see a second go at that. Felt like I wanted a little bit more from the pirate, so you left me wanting more. I love the style that you take with pirate, and I'm wondering what you could do with that if you had a larger landscape, more room to breathe, you know, more caves, more mountains, volcanoes, beaches, shores, shanty villages. What would this look like if you scaled it up 2 or 3 times with more breathing room, more bridges and all that stuff, more islands, some wacky pirate go-karts? It's left me wanting a lot more, and I'd love to see that make an appearance again in the future. I do love what you did here, but I also feel like it's complete. The whole experience with this sci-fi start to finish was just the right amount for me, where it's like not really left me wanting more, but left me feeling completed, and I really quite enjoyed this overall. So that's kind of my overall thoughts, what you could take a stab at again in the future, what I'd like to see a little bit more from, my thoughts on whether or not you should continue to do parks on a map or just make cohesive little parks or Disneyland style parks. Definitely a different, interesting experience overall, and I like new stuff, and that's why I picked it out here today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. Again, I just want to, before we end off the video, iterate the creator's ability to make captivating compositions, and the artistry was just over the top. So no matter what you do in the future, ThisDarkEagle, I'm sure it's going to be good. So whether you take kindly to my suggestions, critiques, or not, I'm definitely keeping my eye on you in the future, and as soon as I see your name pop up in the inbox, we're gonna jump back in and see what you have to offer us in the future. So I look forward to seeing stuff from you again. I hope the community does as well. So let the creator know what you thought of their creation down in the comments below, guys, and that is gonna do it for us in today's episode of Park Spotlight. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye now.